Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the...
This is our government. I mean, yeah, the Immaculate Constellation program. Look, if this isn't just a ploy, because our government loves to scare the American people, the science loves to scare the American people. That's what science, DOD, the Department of Defense, they all work together. And in another clip, you know, I think it was Congresswoman Boebert or Representative Boebert who said, is this about like making hybrids? Yes, it is, they said. Which is mixing human genetics with non-human genetics. That shouldn't surprise anybody. Look at all the genome labs. Why do you think they always constantly want to do just all the blood work and yeah, it's look, if your government, your intelligence agencies were willing back in the 70s to do MK Ultra on people, manipulate people like that, then would you put this past them? No. That's who's been running the government. So it's the intelligence agencies. Look, they may just be doing this too, just the very fact that this really wasn't a disclosure except for a bit here and there. But they could, you know, they're not going to do a peaceful transfer of power. They're playing like they are, but they have something up their sleeve. I'm not saying that to scare people. But if this is real, and they went on to say in this that, you know, it's non-human entities or people that they've come in contact with, then our government's been colluding with Lucifer. There is not people from other planets. There's not. The science has carried on for years that, oh, the universe has been here billions and billions of years. They have no way of proving that. All they do is tell you that, and because they're a scientist, you believe them. And they believe themselves because they've been told that. There's no proof of that. They can come up with whatever they want. There's not proof of that. There's more proof. It's just our media doesn't tell anybody of all the archaeology digs that are proving the Bible left and right every day. And the media, you have to look that up, though, because the media is not going to tell you. It's not like the media wants you to know God or our government. But look, you don't have to worry about extraterrestrials. These would be fallen angels. They're talked about in the book of Jude. It's the book that's right before Revelations. The book of Jude it's like 2 pages long, and it talks about how some of the angels, because all the angels sit on the post around the earth, and they watch the earth. They're our surveillance, really. But some of those angels just were like, no, I'm done with this, because they were mad at God. They were mad at God anyway. There was a fight in heaven because God made humans. And some of those angels, because God gave them free will too, got jealous. And those angels are considered stars in the Bible. And constellation means star, perfect stars. So if it is real, it's not because they're great people from some other planet. No, they're fallen angels. The Bible is what explains it the best. And if that's the case, it's because it's not Russia, it's not China you need to worry about. Look, our government, who knows? We have all these secret societies in the universities, like Skull and Bones. Those men go on to get, look at the Bushes, both served presidencies. Their lineage goes back to being in Skull and Bones all the way to Prescott Bush. Who even knows what conjuring they're doing in Skull and Bones, okay? I mean, you have no idea when you have intelligence agencies that in the 70s were willing to manipulate people and toy with them, giving them LSD and all that stuff that was declassified, then there's nothing they won't do. I'm sure that they're in with fallen angels, but it's not aliens from another planet. It's not. It's the fallen angels. They've always been around anyway. You don't need to worry about it. Just ask God for protection every day. really the only way they can really get to you if they don't have you already. Like they have many people already. There's some of those deals made. But the only way they can hurt you is if you're actively walking in sin regularly, and then they can trip you up and they can cause you some problems. You won't know it's them, but you'll write it off, but then you'll be like, why is he? But otherwise, God protects you from it. So, but the very fact that they're doing this now right after the election, you just wonder, our government, the science, they love to just scare the American people. So, but I think most people are wide awake to what the kind of games our government plays. So the fact is, though, it's 100% that there's not aliens from another planet, no matter what Joe Rogan says, or anybody for that matter. It's called Immaculate Constellation. Constellation means stars. Star. It's in the Bible about stars are the angels. So, and it says how some of those angels left their proper place of dwelling. They were supposed to be the watchers on the wall, but they said, nope, we're going to go cause some havoc on Earth. And then, of course, our government decided to, take up shop with them and make a bunch of genome labs. And I'm not saying that nobody should be scared. If you believe in God, just stick with the Bible, God. Just make it simple on yourself. Don't be trying to go down the path of chakras and energy vibrating. Just keep it simple. It's, the Bible, and just, I've said before, the reason I'm silenced clearly is because I speak of Jesus. That's really what it is. Because what anybody who knows anything about the Bible, that side wants to get as many on its side going down its road. And this is that time in history where there's going to be more people going down the wide road. So, it's very clear what they are, especially when they name it Immaculate Constellation. But they've been doing this stuff for a long time, so it's likely where, they get their technology that they never tell us about, the advancements in technology, because it's always 30 years ahead of what they tell you, because they don't want you to know the truth. Well, where do they get it from? Likely from some dark places, let's say. But that's if this isn't just a scare tactic. But if it's not a scare tactic, look, your military, look, it's very clear in the Bible that those entities God has to handle. Lucifer's given a small window to wreak havoc. But I've said this before, the book of Revelations has played out from the time John finished writing it. It says at the beginning that these things, at the very beginning, these things will soon take place. And they did as soon as he finished writing it. In 539 is when the whole sky blacked out. For a year or 2 years. So everybody's thinking, the moon's going to, turn to blood and the sun's going to go to... No, they want to make you think that stuff it already did, because all that stuff's it's played out. Now, there's questions for many people, and I get why, that with the mark of the beast. I tend to think, it could be, but I think it's too obvious. It's too obvious. I guess it does say, those who don't take the mark of the beast, but then it also says everyone will take it. So many people believe most of that book, the beginning of Revelations, it was for the apostles. It was for that time, and a lot of it had already played out. It's the last chapters that are for this time. But our government and people that are up to no good and always want to scare you would want to make you think that, this horrible thing's going to come. Well, even if it does, just stick with God and you're okay. You don't need to be afraid. The only reason you need to be afraid is if you're walking with them or you're busy, trying to raise your vibrations and chakras instead of just sticking close to God. Otherwise, you're good. You just see how it all unfolds, the show.